Alright YouTube, what is good? It's your boy Rebel back with another video, and today we have the long-awaited Z image base model. A few key features. This is the undistilled foundation, so as a non-distilled base model, Z image prefers the complete training signal. It supports full classifier-free guidance, otherwise known as CFG, providing the precision required for complex prompt engineering and professional workflows. It excels in aesthetic versatility. Z-Image masters a vast spectrum of visual languages from hyper-realistic photography and cinematic digital art to intricate anime and stylized illustrations. Essentially, this is like full step Z-Image Turbo. So you're getting full detail based on step count. You're getting, versatility in CFG and shift. You can really maximize fine-tuning what you want out of your image. So the recommended parameters, the resolution can go from 512 by 512 to 2048 by 2048. So you can get, 2 megapixels out of it. The first thing you're going to need to do is go into the link in the description to the Civet AI workflow I have here. If you don't want to use the native one, that's up to you. All of the files are actually linked right here in the workflow anyways. It's your choice which workflow you'd like to use. You do have your base model. I provided a GUF version that's in the quantized versions on the actual Z-Image base Hugging Face page, so this is tagged in it. Your GUF models range anywhere from 5 gigabytes to 8 gigabytes, and your BF16 is 12.3. After you get all of the files, you can download the workflow and throw it in Comfy. You will get something that looks like this. So if you don't use the BF16, you'll have to use the GUF UNet loader node and use the GUF. But other than that, you can just string over the node. I do have some loras stacked and ready right here. There probably aren't too many available for this model because it's different than the turbo model. I have a subgraph for your clip, your VAE, and your shift. For your text encoder, you do have a choice of 3. You have the full 4 billion, and then you have an FP4 and a FP8. So it's your choice based on the VRAM you have available to use. You have your clip text encode node, you have your height and width, and you have a subgraph for all of your K-sampler additives. And then I have the VAE decode with some clear VRAM and clean cache nodes as well, but those are bypassed in case you don't have them. So our first example is a woman on the beach. She is holding a sign that reads the image base. Pretty standard for all of my testing that I do. I usually just test the sign. At this point, most models are pretty consistent with basic text like this. Even the distilled Flux Klein model was able to get, something this simple after a couple iterations. So next we have Pikachu holding a sign on the same beach. Just wanted to get like a little sense of the anime direction that was here available. The model supposedly does excel in anime. Our next example is Pikachu in a sort of 2.5 or photorealistic settings, and she is standing on a mountain of Pokeballs. I enjoyed, the fidelity in this image is pretty good for a, 1 megapixel image, pretty decent. Here we have a woman with a laughing expression, scrunched nose, and closed eyes. I wanted to test the expressions, and it really captured this very well. She looks like she is laughing. So here we have a man making either would be bread or pasta or something. Here we have a female mechanic. Very high quality fidelity image. I think again the CFG did change some needed aspects to this image, but nevertheless it's a pretty decent image. We have a man standing waiting for a bus or to cross the street, whatever you want to call it. He's holding a weathered briefcase. This is a decent image. Here we have a color tone and high saturation image of a man playing, I believe this is a cello, but yeah, decent image. I do like the sunlight cast in that's picking up the dust particles in the air. That's kind of a nice touch. Here we have a young man with freckles, super high detail in the eyes and especially the lips. Here we have a woman with a shaved head and glasses with a leather jacket on a balcony. Very, very good image. No complaints at all. Here we have a window rain soaked with a blurred see-through. The only thing I'll say is the perspective on this is very weird. Whether or not you want to judge what this window is to like a car or a building. If it is a building, it doesn't really make sense because like the road's right here. But I mean, if you're thinking this is like the inside of a bus, you know, and this is the back window or something, I guess you could kind of pass that. So this is a really, really good example of like long form text in a prompt. So you have the algorithms archive and cafe. And on the signboard out here, you have today's special Z image base latte. It is $6 billion parameters of flavor. Now serving full context window. The only thing I'll say is that it messed up this little portion, the art of, you know, S3DIT, discussion on non-distilled foundations. Messed up the time too. But other than that, this was a pretty good attempt. Had I ran this prompt, you know, more than once, I probably could have got a clean version of this. It could be seed related or CFG. Upping the CFG to 6 will correct a lot of the text issues you have, but this was ran on 5. Here we have a astronaut sitting in a sunflower field on Mars looking at the planet Earth. Very good image. Nothing really to say about it. High fidelity, good quality. I like the wrinkles on the suit. Everything makes sense. Reflection really makes sense looking down at this field. All right, guys, that's all I'm going to have for you today. Just wanted to get this workflow and model to you guys so you could use the Z image base model because we have been dying to use this model since day one of Z image Turbo coming out. I personally am extremely excited for the edit model to come out, but this is a good, you know, toy to play with, I guess, until that does come. So if you enjoyed what you saw today, please consider subscribing to the channel and leaving me a comment on the video to let me know how I did. You can also like the video. It genuinely helps the channel tremendously. So go ahead and download this workflow, get this model running, guys, and enjoy Z image base. All right, guys, thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.